see Detroit, baby, we out here. You see what's going on. We activated. We ain't playing no games.
Talk about that, yeah. Gang versus tribalism. Like
we have an inversion to being in tribes as part of our culture, and it's just basically who you around every day, the environment overall, and where the limits are at. That's a tribe of people. We think the same. We probably do all the same thing, eat the same foods because we're going to the same supermarket. That's more of a tribal thing. The idea of gang is criminal. The root of it is criminal. Tribe ain't necessarily nothing criminal about it being in a tribe. You understand what I'm saying? Your family is a tribe. It's a small tribe. But a gang, I don't want to come into the origin of nothing in a criminal way, because that's all the rewards and benefits that you're gonna get is criminal stuff.
A lot of gangs would debate that, saying that the origin of the gang was for the community and to uplift the community, like the beginning of the Bloods and the beginning of the Crips, the conservative vice lords, and that whole thing. What's your thoughts on that in connection to you just making a statement saying that the origin of gangs are criminal?
Well, if you're getting where I'm coming from, I'm talking about the base, the etymology, the root of it. Gang ain't rooted in GD, vice lord, conservative. It's not the beginning of gang. Al Capone was part of a gang. They were called gangsters. So they before you. They're before you. So everybody that's in the gang, they came before you. And the word didn't root itself off of that. The idea of what you're doing today is rooted in that. Those guys are criminal, public enemy number one, and all that type of stuff. That's what you're doing. So words mean things. You can't undo words to make them what you want to make them to in this day and era. Even though you can, what we call slang, you can mix the words up to change the definition for what's current. But the root of it, you can't change that, because that's where you're getting all these ideas from. So I can't say a tiger is a pussycat, because I want to perceive it to be that way. It's going to be, the nature of it is going to reveal it. And when it do what a tiger do and not a pussycat, you shouldn't be mad.
No, definitely.
So gang, that's it, the criminal root of it. So now it's more prone, but what we were talking about and what we were labeled as was from them. We didn't label ourselves a gang. The Crips, the Bloods, they didn't name themselves a gang. That's what people from the outside called them.
Looking
it's
at
like
the
Christians.
activity.
It's like Christians. In the Bible, it say the Christians were called, or the people that followed Jesus were called Christians in Antioch by their enemies. That's not always the wisest way to get your name.
Most definitely.
But that's what happened. So a lot of the people that's being called gangs, if you had asked them in their root and their etymology, did they call themselves a gang? And the heads of them people will probably tell you, no, we didn't call ourselves a gang.
Absolutely. No,
so that's sense for y'all.
Yeah.
The root didn't even call itself a gang. That's a label that somebody put on you to describe you in a negative way.
Let me ask you a question. Back in the day, and like during the late 70s and 80s, did you actually get an opportunity to see like the Detroit mobs like move around, or was there any stories about them where that was actually before y'all? You know what I'm talking about? Like
folklore, like the Purple Gang.
Yeah, like the Detroit Purple Gang and stuff like that.
It's a lot of people that you will see that's old Italians that's down in the city of Detroit, and some Jewish people. And you might question, like, when Trapper's Alley was down there was and people can remember this, there was a arcade full of Jews. And just the vibe in there was like some old Italian movie.
Right.
So I can't, to answer your question directly, I can't say that I've seen anything like that.
But you may have seen something might.
And then, brother, let me say this. When I was growing up, white people were never our heroes. And I'm saying this for all the brothers that grew up around me. If you ain't grew up in the hood where I grew up, and you don't understand what I'm saying, they would never. We had gangsters right in front of us. And they was tougher than the Italians. They used to buff them off. Never looked at no Italians like, oh, this guy's, I'm about to name myself Gambino. That was lame to us. Man, we got this. I ain't gonna name no names of the criminals, gangsters in the hood, but yeah, we got this group, that group, these guys, these killers. And they scaring them. Why the hell would I look up to you when I got my uncle and them doing this? Nah, man, we never did that.
What about was you around during the time of like the Curry Boys and Um,
I was a kid, but yeah.
who all them, all the other legendary
Yeah, you can say their name.
Detroit
I ain't gonna say
Detroit
their
street gangs, the YBIs and all of that.
name. The BKs, the
Yeah.
Earl Flynn's.
Yeah. What was the climate of Detroit at that time? Was it on fire? Was it like in comparison to how the streets is now?
It was rules. It was, from what I can remember, there was rules. There's certain things you didn't do. You didn't rob working men and women. You didn't bother children. You protected them actually in your gang, because most of those things, like you were alluding to before when you started talking about the different organizations, because that's what they call themselves, street organizations. But the different organizations, they were rooted to protect the community in a lot of cases and cause some unity amongst the youth to do little things like don't let no girls get kidnapped or beat on. We had agent provocateurs that these people, you can look it up. You can look this up, that came into our neighborhoods and would start a fight or kill somebody from down the street and put their bodies in their enemy's neighborhood. Now you looking down the street at these guys and now y'all warring. Y'all don't even know where the war started. Or who killed who. You just know that it started somewhere and now y'all beefing, and now it's criminal stuff added to it, but that wasn't originally it. So those groups that you're talking about, those were the older guys over us, and really they protected us. If you was going to school every day and trying to get an education, those guys would give you like $5 for every A you had and make sure that you wouldn't skip in school. It's a different climate. For rules existed. Rules. If you snitch, you die. And that was only in the criminal element. You couldn't be somebody's grandmother and snitch. First of all, you're not a part of the criminal life. How are you snitching? Feast the definition. You understand what I'm saying? You're a citizen and you told. So those people were off limits. Off limits, completely off limits. If you did something like that, everybody would turn on you.
You say everybody
would turn on you. You was ousted. If you raped a woman and you got found out about, the guys will show up to your house, shotguns in hand. Guys went down south and never came back.
And these are so-called gang members that's putting this law down like this.
My stepfather was a Helen Hood. He was the leader of the Helen Hoods.
What's the Helen Hoods?
Just a regular old street gang.
What area was that in? Was that east side?
Okay. Just right outside the Black Bottom, but yeah, Helen. They were kind of tough too. But he was a leader of that gang. And he's a very respectful man back then and now.
That's what's up.
They wouldn't talk to your mother bad or none of that.